Welcome to class today. Super glad you're here. We're going over child's pose. This might be your first yoga class ever, so I just want to give you the very basis of a yoga practice is to tune into your body and take rest when you need to. Child's pose is a great spot, a great pose where you can find rest if taken correctly. So child's pose doesn't agree with everybody. That's why I'm going to offer you several different modified versions of child's pose, so you'll be able to find one that agrees with your body today. All right, child's pose is known for releasing stress and fatigue and just kind of calming the brain down. It's generally known for being a great stretch through your lower back and hip area. And let me tell you, I don't just use child's pose within a yoga class. If I've had a long day or if I've been traveling or something, a few child's poses, sometimes just what I need. All right, let's go over what you need for this class. Ideally, a couple of blocks, a folded blanket, and a bolster. These are all in order to take modifications. So if you've done a bit of yoga and you know that child's pose is within your practice, maybe you won't need these, but if this, again, is your first class, you might want to have these options handy, as well as some blank wall space. Will be nice to end class today. All right, let's go over the how-tos. So, how-to child's pose, pretty straightforward. We begin on our hands and knees and then just slide our hips back toward our heels. Now, this seems pretty simple, and then for a lot of us, we're like, well, there's so many reasons why this doesn't work. For me, my head doesn't quite reach anything and it just kind of hovers. Now, that's okay. It feels okay for me most days, but my first tip is drawing a block in under that forehead. I love the pressure of that block or floor to forehead. That's what helps release head and neck tension for me. Okay, so that might be a stopping place for some of you or a starting place. Others, they're like, well, that kills my knees to be on my knees like that. So a couple options there. First of all, doing this class on carpeted surface or with a couple really thick yoga mats will help with knee pressure. Now, the knee bend issue is nice to place this folded blanket behind your knees, and then as you can see, I just can't be forced to bend any deeper than that. Okay, so it just kind of protects that knee area and lets my lower back release. So you can play with that. Another modification that I really want to encourage and that I love is a wide knees child's pose. So just taking your knees out to the very outer corners of the mat gives your torso more space to relax down and breathe a little bit better. If at any point in a yoga practice, if you notice that you're kind of holding your breath or that your breath is gone, you're in the pose a little bit too deep and you need to take a modification or just come back to that pose later on in your practice when you're a little more familiar with things. You really want to let your breath be your guide through your yoga practice. Okay, so we want to watch those knees. We want to watch so that we have room to breathe, ideally bringing that forehead down. So this might be a nice tool to have, a bolster or a really thick pillow. Just bringing your child's pose right here. Okay, so as you can see, my knees are really bent here, but if that was a problem, bringing that blanket in behind those and just taking your child's pose in your very, very most comfortable way. Okay, hope you could hear that. My microphone was on the other side. All right, so those are the modifications. Let's go ahead and just get to our practice. I'm ready. So think about which one of those modifications will work for you. We'll start practice with a guided breathing exercise, and then we'll go right into child's pose to start our practice off today. So for me, I'm going to take that one on the bolster. So I'm just setting those things to the side. Let's sit up nice and tall. If this is an uncomfortable position in any ways, bolster under hips is nice too. Take a moment, settle in, lengthen that spine up, and we'll just take a few breaths right here. We'll just inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3. One more time. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Go ahead and open your eyes. Release that pose into your version of child's pose. So whatever modification you want to take, again, I'm going to utilize this bolster and wide knees to just come down and reconnect with the breath right here. So again, inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3. Hold. Good. Now just come to your normal breath, a nice long inhale. And a nice slow exhale. And let's take one more moment here in child's pose, just taking a different version. So taking what's known as, some teachers call it embryo pose. So bringing those arms back behind you, letting things rest. Using a modification if you'd still like to do that. Totally your yoga practice. I'm just offering options. Take another breath here. Great job. Slowly pressing the ground away. And then let's find our tabletop position again, taking a couple of cat-cows right here. So we'll tilt our tailbone up, gaze forward, and exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin. Inhale, tailbone lifts. And exhale, spine rounds. Now we're here for 2 more, so if you're noticing that your knees are kind of bothering you, take a moment to grab that blanket in and place it under your knees for a little more padding. Inhale, tailbone lifts. And exhale, spine rounds. Great job. From here, everybody's toes are tucked, and we'll just slide those hips back and forward, just kind of warming up the feet and the ankles here a little bit. Now, a little bit more would be to lift your knees off. Don't force yourself into anything that doesn't feel quite right, but again, just working that ankle and top of the foot mobility here. Okay. Take one more breath here. And then we'll slowly begin to lift up into our downward facing dog. Pedal the feet out, look back through the knees. Pressing the ground away. Now we'll go over this pose in detail in a few classes here. So for today, just do your very best to make your body into like a triangle position, but also not worrying so much about what the shape of it looks like. Just worrying about nothing at all. How does it feel for your body? Take another breath right here. Great job. So let's slowly begin to walk the feet up to the top of the mat. If you've got a blanket here, as I do, set it to the side, walk the feet up to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift, lengthen your spine out. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand all the way up. That can mean crawling your hands up your legs or swan diving your arms up and out. And then touch your palms together. Inhale, rise your arms up above your head, lengthen up, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. As you exhale, bend your knees, plant your hands, and step your right foot back behind you. Right foot steps back, lower down to that back knee, and we'll lift those arms up to our thigh or arms up above the head. Lengthen here. As you exhale, hands come down around the left foot, and we'll bring that left knee back to meet right. So some people will lift off, others might just slide that left knee back to meet right. For from here, lower all the way to your belly, bringing those elbows in by your ribs, and inhale to a baby cobra. Just lift your heart forward, keep your pelvis resting on the mat. As you exhale, press your hips back into child's pose. Take your modification, take time to draw a prop in if you need to, or place that blanket behind your knees. And then let's just draw both our hands over to the right side of the mat. You might even stack your left hand on top of right. And then slowly draw your hands over to the left corner of the mat. Maybe even stacking your right hand on top of left. Finding your arms straight out in front of you now again. Go ahead and find your tabletop pose. Take 2 more cat-cows. Inhale, lift your tailbone, and exhale, round your spine. Good, 1 more. Inhale. As you exhale, go ahead and round and tuck your toes, this time lifting up into your downward facing dog. Pedal the feet out here. And begin to walk your feet up to your hands, walking to the top of the mat. Come on up, inhale, half lift. As you exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand all the way up. Touch your palms together and bring them to your heart. Good, inhale. Bring arms up above your head, lengthen out. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. As you exhale, bend your knees, plant your hands, and we'll step our left foot back behind us. Finding your low lunge right here. Bring your arms up above your head and lean into it just a little bit more now. Arms above head, just an option. If it feels better for your body to have hands down or at your hips, totally take what works best for you. As you exhale, those hands come down around your foot. You slide your right knee back to meet left and slowly lower all the way to your belly. Inhale, lift your heart forward. And exhale, slide your hips back, finding child's pose. This time, let's take the wide knees version. Bring those knees out, hips down. Good. Now if that head isn't resting, go ahead and grab that block or the bolster and take another breath right here. Go ahead and find your way back to your tabletop position, just 1 cat-cow. Inhale, tailbone lifts. Exhale, spine rounds. Tuck your toes, lift on up, downward facing. All right, let's go ahead and walk, step, or hop your feet up to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, swan dive all the way up. And exhale, hands to your heart. Taking a brief balance pose here. We'll take the weight into our left foot and bring your right foot to your ankle, your shin, or your upper thigh. Now you stay right where you are. I'm just gonna face the camera and kind of show where I'm at here. All right, take another breath right here. Press foot into leg, leg into foot. This is another pose we'll go over in detail here in a few classes. But for today, just do your very best to feel that balance. If you're coming in or out, just know that that's part of finding balance, coming in and out. Nice and slow. Good, take that right foot off and step it way back behind you. We'll find a warrior 2 here by lining up our left heel with our right arch. Windmill your arms out and find your warrior 2 by settling those hips down, reaching out through the fingertips, shoulders away from the ears here. We'll take another breath. Coming into our side angle, left forearm, left thigh, right arm by your ear. Reach through those right fingertips. Take another breath here. And then we'll slowly lift back up, finding a brief warrior 2, and then straightening that front leg, reaching into our triangle pose. Reaching forward, bring that left hand down, Right arm lifts, finding your version of triangle pose. Now again, it might be worthwhile to take just a moment and grab a prop in using a block instead of your shin or calf if it feels like you're getting too much pressure there. Good. Lift your heart forward. And as you exhale, we'll find our way to a wide angle forward fold. So just bringing both feet parallel to mat edge. Bring your block or your hands to the center of your mat. Lengthen. Exhale, fold. Got a couple breaths right here. Good. Take one more. And then we'll begin walking our hands back to the top of the mat. Those left toes will face forward and you'll step back, finding plank. Knees or toes, you'll lower all the way again to your belly. Inhale. Upward facing dog, or I'm still showing cobra with my pelvis on the floor and my elbows bent. And then pressing back into child's pose. Take a breath here. And then we'll slowly lift back up, tuck your toes, lift into your downward facing dog. Pedal the feet out by bending one knee and then straightening the other. And then we'll begin to walk our feet up to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, swan dive all the way up. Touch your palms together. And exhale, hands to your heart. Let's take tree on the left side now. Taking the weight in your right foot, lift your left foot up to your ankle, your shin, or your upper thigh. We just avoid the knee area. And again, this is what my tree is looking like today. Really lock it in. Press leg into foot, foot into leg. Okay, take another breath here. And then nice and slow, begin to unwind into your warrior two. So that left leg lifts back behind you. Line it up, right heel, left arch, arms out, warrior two. Take a breath here. Shoulders away from ears. Nice job. Let's find side angle, right forearm, right thigh, left arm by your ear. Maybe looking at those left fingertips. Good. Take another breath here. And then we'll windmill back up into our warrior two. Moving through practice today, giving yourself permission to head into child's pose at any point. Warrior two, go ahead and straighten both legs. And then reach forward with your right fingertips as your left hip kicks back. And we'll find our version of triangle right here. Right hand down, left arm lifts. Good. Right hand can be to your shin or your block, or maybe to the floor. Take another breath right here. And we'll find that wide angle fold by bringing both hands down to the long end of our mat. Feet go parallel to the short end. Give a little inhale, half lift, and exhale, fold. Now, if your wide angle you're not quite able to have straight legs and reach the floor, go ahead and draw your block in. Folding, utilizing props. I'm just a huge fan. I like using props in almost everything I do. I just feel like it helps you ease through practice rather than stressing about it. Good. Let's take one more breath here. And we'll slowly walk those hands up to the top of the mat. Set your prop to the side. Find plank. And we'll drop to our knees, lower to your belly. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, let's go back into your child's pose. Okay, let's keep our child's pose nice and easy where we're able to breathe. And then we'll slowly lift on up and make our way into a seated forward fold. So I'm going to take wide angle first. So we're just bringing our legs to the very outer edges of the mat. Lift your spine, lengthen out. Now, if this isn't accessible for where you're at in your practice right now, go ahead, grab your bolster or your folded blanket and sit right here. You can see your hips are in a little bit less flexion here. Good. Lengthen up, and then to your ability level, go ahead and lean forward. We'll take 2 or 3 breaths right here. Good. If you're in it and you're like, well, I'm kind of done with the prop now, just take it out. Your practice. Let's slowly lift up and make our way onto our backs. We'll bring our block in here. I want to lead you through one of my very favorite poses is a restorative back bend. So we just bend our knees, plant our feet, keep that block handy. So starting in this position here, just let that lower back settle down for a moment. Lower back settling in. And then when you're ready, go ahead and lift that lower back off the mat, finding your modified bridge here. And draw that block underneath your spine. So I find that most supportive part right underneath the sacral area, and just let it settle in here. I'll guide you through a few different positions, but if this feels best, stay here, okay? So if you'd like to, hug that right knee in, lengthen left leg out. Take a breath. Go ahead and bend your left knee, plant the left foot, and then let your right down to match it. Center things up here, and then hug your left knee in. Lengthen right leg out. Bend your right knee, plant your right foot, release your left down to match it. And then just one more if you wanted here, just straightening both legs out and then possibly bringing both arms up overhead. Now, again, just if this doesn't agree with your body, just stay with that most neutral first version that I offered. Always trying to ease in and build your practice in a way that feels good for your body. Take one more breath here. Let's go ahead and plant our feet, arms down by your sides. We'll lift off and then lower down. Lower down nice and slow, even slightly tucking that tailbone so that the fullness of your spine rests on the mat here for a moment. Let those knees come together, feet slightly out, and release. Let's begin to hug those knees into chest now. Give a gentle squeeze. And then just kind of notice if this feels a little bit like child's pose. Noticing this position, bringing your arms up, and then hugging those knees in. Might get that same sensation. Grateful for gravity though. This way we have to pull in with our arms, the other our body's releasing into the earth. Let's take one more breath and then we'll come into a nice twist here. So just dropping your knees over to the right, look to the left. Let's go ahead and hug back in through center. And then drop your knees to the left, look to the right. And hug back in through center. We'll take a moment here and begin to move toward a wall. So take your time getting up, and we're not getting all the way up, we're just kind of guiding our hip over to the wall and then releasing into legs up the wall. Very nurturing, very calming pose. Just let those legs lift on up and then rest your hands on your belly. welcome to stay here with legs up the wall, or maybe take them out into a straddle. Just beginning to wind practice down. Take a few nice long breaths here. Big long inhale. Nice slow exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Kind of winding things down in this pose. If you took straddle, maybe come back to your pike position with your legs. Just noticing that lower back really pressing into the earth. Then we'll begin to ease our way into Savasana. So slowly coming out, recentering yourself up on your mat. I've got a bolster handy today and a little bit of a tender lower back, so I'm going to place this bolster under my knees and just slowly lower back down. Arms out by your sides, palms up, legs out toward the very outer edges of the mat. And then just begin your Savasana pose here today by taking a couple of nice long breaths. As you exhale, picture a nice golden light starting at the top of your head and just going down your body. Everything that the light touches, head, neck, shoulders, just relaxes into the mat. Continue to inhale and exhale as that golden light floats down over your body, relaxing your torso, your pelvis, your legs, all the way down to the tips of your toes. Just let your body rest and relax right here. If you're able to stay longer, feel free to pause this video and stay here longer. If you're ready to come out, begin by wiggling your fingers and toes, just drawing sensation back into your body. Maybe take a nice long stretch, arms up above your head, point your toes, lengthen out. And as you exhale, gently roll to your side in the fetal position for a few breaths. And press all the way back up into a seated position. Oh, that was nice. I hope you guys feel so good. Way to go if that was your first practice. Go ahead and lengthen your spine up. Draw your shoulders away from your ears. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Namaste.